break down all of this, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. There's a lot to decipher here. Can I ask a question on this first memo? I would like to know why this, I assume this came from the FBI. I assume this, Director Wray saw this letter to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. This is July of 2018, Lindsey. They're justifying the use of the dossier when it was a year and a half earlier that they debunked the dossier.
Well, you nailed the first part. There's two things really important tonight. The legal foundation for Mueller's appointment is crumbling. The memo to Mueller from Rosenstein was given to me today or yesterday by Barr, fully unredacted, virtually unredacted. So now we know that the scope of the investigation was to look at Carter Page, Flynn, Papadopoulos, and Manafort as to whether or not they were working with the Russians. Now, this is in August of 2017. You nailed it. In January 2017, the subsource disavowed the dossier, and without the dossier, there's no warrant. So they knew that the Carter Page thing was a fraud. January the 4th, 2017, the FBI field office wanted to close the case against Flynn. We've got Papadopoulos on record denying working with the Russians, saying to do so would be treason. So the foundation for the Mueller investigation is crumbling. Now, and
slow down, Lindsey. I want to stay on the timeline here.
This is important.
This is important. You're right. That's why I'm going through it. This scope memo, this is August of 2017. Rod Rosenstein sent it. Now we're up to the fourth FISA application, the third renewal. Now, let's stay on the dates for 1 second. The only source for this had to be Steele. By August of 2017, for the scope memo and the final renewal, or the third renewal, the fourth warrant, by that time, they knew back in February of 2017 that it was Russian disinformation, and there was only one source, and the source was Steele. They knew it was BS months earlier. So now the question, Senator, is what the hell went on here?
Well, the legal foundation to justify Mueller's appointment, in my view, does not exist. That's what this memo is so important. They named 4 people. Rosenstein tells Mueller to look at 4 people. August the 2nd, 2017. Carter Page is one of the 4. You've just said it better than anybody. January, 8 months before, the subsource disavowed the dossier. There was no legal justification to suspect Carter Page of being a Russian agent because it all depended on the dossier, and that crumbled in January. Flynn's case was looked at by the field office in Washington, January the 4th of 2017, that said there's no reason to believe he is doing anything wrong. He shouldn't be part of Crossfire Hurricane. Papadopoulos is on tape in 2016 denying working with the Russians, to say to do so would be treason. So there was no legitimate reason to believe any of these 4 were working with the Russians on August the 2nd, 2017. Therefore, the entire Mueller investigation was illegitimate to begin with. That's very important.
It's not only illegitimate, Senator. We're talking about a shredding of every bit of constitutional law, due process that we would ever have.
Let's just slow down for a second. I wish a Democrat would take this seriously. I made sure. There was nothing there to find.
This proves they knew.
I agree with
knew.
That. Before it even started, they knew. Okay,
correct.
Number 2, the FBI and the Department of Justice is writing